I knew something was off the second I pulled into my driveway. My gut clenched as my eyes locked onto an unfamiliar SUV, parked right inside my garage, as if it had every right to be there, like it owned the place. It wasn't my sister's car, it wasn't neighbor's, and it sure as hell wasn't mine. And the worst part? The garage door was wide open, almost like the universe itself wanted to put this ridiculous scene on display, daring me to comprehend the sheer absurdity of it. Broad daylight. Middle of the day. I had been gone for just 8 hours. 8! And somehow, in that short time, someone had claimed my property like a lion marking its territory. At first, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe some delivery driver had needed a quick turnaround spot, or perhaps an Uber driver got confused. But as soon as I stepped out of my car, got a closer look, my instinct screamed at me. This was something else entirely. The SUV wasn't just randomly left there. It was parked with precision, neatly positioned inside, as if the driver had taken their sweet time getting it just right. The doors were locked. And to make things even stranger, a half-empty iced coffee sat right on the hood, condensation still fresh. Someone had been here recently. Too recently. My pulse quickened as I strode up to my front door, scanning for any signs of forced entry. Everything seemed untouched, but that did little to ease a rising irritation in my chest. Whoever had the audacity to park in my garage was about to get a reality check. I headed straight to the neighbors, looking for answers, and that's when I met her. Karen. She didn't even give me the chance to knock, as if she had been expecting me. She stepped out of her house, radiating the kind of smug confidence that only comes with a lifetime of getting away with nonsense. Short bob haircut, oversized sunglasses perched on her nose, and an expression that practically dared me to challenge her. "Excuse me," I said, keeping my voice level despite the irritation simmering beneath the surface. "Do you know whose car that is?" "The one in my garage." Without a moment's hesitation, she sipped her drink and said, "Yeah, it's mine." Silence. I blinked, waiting for her to elaborate, to maybe add an "I'm just kidding," or offer some kind of reasonable explanation. But no, she just stood there, cool as could be. "I'm sorry, what?" I finally managed, my brain short-circuiting. "I parked there," she repeated, like that somehow explained everything. I let out a short, incredulous laugh, expecting her to crack a smile, to let me in on the joke. But she didn't. She just sipped her drink again, looking at me like I was the one being unreasonable. "So, you just parked in my garage?" I asked, needed to confirm that I wasn't hallucinating. She scoffed, rolling her eyes. "It was empty." "What's the big deal? You weren't even using it." Oh. This was going to be a problem. I took a deep breath, pinching the bridge of my nose to keep myself from snapping. "Karen, this is my property. You can't just park in my garage because you feel like it." She shrugged, unfazed. "Well, I was in a hurry, and your driveway is too sloped for my SUV. You have so much space. I figured, since you weren't home, what's the harm?" The sheer audacity of that statement almost made me laugh. Almost. "The harm is that it's illegal." I said, my patience wearing dangerously thin. "You're trespassing. Move your car." She folded her arms. "I will, but I have errands to run, so I'll get to it later." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "Later?" I echoed, laughing in sheer disbelief. "No, you'll move it now." Karen let out an exaggerated sigh, the kind that suggested I was some unreasonable landlord demanding rent on time. "I can't," she whined. "I'm going out with my friends. Just be a good neighbor and let it be." And with that, she turned on her heel, strutted back into her house, and shut the door in my face. I stood there, jaw clenched, trying to process what had just happened. I had encountered entitled people before, but Karen was on a whole different level. I could have called the police. I could have had her towed. But something about the smug little smirk she had given me ignited a much pettier fire inside me. Fine. She wanted to park in my garage so badly, then she could stay in my garage. Without hesitation, I walked back inside, grabbed my garage door remote, and manually locked it from the inside. Then I secured the side door with a deadbolt, double-checked everything, and made sure there was absolutely no way in or out. And then I packed my bags and left for an entire week. Now, here's where things got really interesting. What I hadn't realized at the time was that Karen had gone into the garage before I locked it. She must have gone back to grab something from her car, thinking she could come and go as she pleased. But once I locked that door, sealed it tight, and drove off, she was trapped. By the time I was halfway to my vacation destination, sipping a cocktail under the sun, Karen was stuck, locked inside my garage with nothing but her purse and whatever she had left in her car to keep her company. Back home, the neighborhood started noticing her absence. Her husband, Greg, seemed vaguely concerned but mostly indifferent, assuming she'd gone on a spontaneous shopping trip or a girl's getaway. But Susan, her best friend and fellow drama queen, started raising questions. Meanwhile, inside the garage, Karen was realizing just how limited her options were. No phone signal. No food except for some stale protein bars I had long forgotten about. And worst of all, no working restroom. By day 3, she was desperate. She had tried everything. Pounding on the walls, honking the horn, even attempting to squeeze through the doggy door in a move so ridiculous that I wish I had security footage of it. And me? I was blissfully unaware, enjoying my trip with zero interruptions, until I got a message from an unknown number. "Help me, you monster." I stared at the screen, confused. Then another message popped up. "You locked me in, you psychopath. Let me out." And that's when it hit me. Karen hadn't just parked in my garage. She had parked herself in my garage. And now she wanted out. But I wasn't in any hurry to fix her problem. After all, she had told me to be a good neighbor and let her park there, hadn't she? Wait, we will continue.